recently, so this saga at Amazon will hopefully be coming to an end fairly soon. I had an interview the other day, and I've been applying to a lot of things, so hoping to move on from it soon, but this should continue as much as it can. I want to transfer this format to whatever I end up doing next and continue to have chats and put my thoughts and feelings out there, get them off my chest a little bit, as I found it to be very helpful. Today I don't have too much in terms of existential philosophy to talk about like normal, although I guess that's not quite true, because what I do feel like talking about is religion and I guess the intersection of different religions. I'm personally an Orthodox Christian. I was raised in that household, and for many years kind of drifted away from it, wasn't really sure. I still believed in God, but didn't practice any religion, didn't pray, didn't go to church, didn't really think much of it other than when I was home, I was with my parents, I would go with them. Nowadays, I'm still not consistent with going to service, but I'm very consistent with prayer. I've kind of found my way back to Orthodox Christianity through a mixture of things, through research, through looking back into religion, through my spiritual practices of meditation and things like that. So I want to discuss some of those things, and we'll talk about it later today in more detail. But thanks for listening to me yap right now. I'm getting to work in a few minutes, so I'll check back with y'all when I'm loading up the truck and when I get out on the road. Alright, talk to y'all soon. What's up, people? Just sitting here at the end of my day, and wanted to take a couple minutes to chat with y'all about what I brought up earlier. So in the past couple weeks, I feel like I've been really delving deep into religion and my own religion and my own beliefs at a new level. I mean, maybe when I was a kid I experienced something similar, but I can't remember if I did. So what I can say is that for the past couple weeks, I've been watching a ton of videos about the Bible, about sort of lesser known aspects. I don't know if any of you have seen Wendigoon, but he is a really good creator who talks about all sorts of fantastical things, but also happens to be a Christian and dives into a lot of biblical things as well, and does so with like a certain level of reverence, while still being lighthearted and entertaining about it. But in any case, I've been getting into that type of content. I've been getting into other sort of religious content. I've been reading more spiritual content and been reading the Bible for probably the first time, and in tiny little spurts, like maybe a page or two at a time, because honestly the Old Testament is tough to get through. But the reason I bring this up is because it's been a very interesting experience, because it's come with a lot of emotions and feelings and conflicting thoughts at times, because one of the things I feel like has brought me closer in recent times to my religion is sort of a expression of other beliefs and religious patterns, because I've gotten into Buddhism and I've gotten into meditation and I've gotten into those types of practices, and ultimately I feel like that has brought me a lot closer to Christianity and my, I guess you'd say, original religious path, because it kind of opened my heart spiritually. For a long time I think I felt as though my involvement with the Orthodox Church and with Christianity in general was directed upon me, because I come from a family of Orthodox Christians. My grandfather on my dad's side was a very prominent priest in the church, and his son and my uncle is also a very prominent priest in the same church that he started in California. I still attend rarely, but I do still attend, and my parents still attend the church that my grandfather started here in my home state. And so I had this sense that I was a part of it, that I believed in it truly, but that it was kind of a matter of circumstance. So when I was removed from that circumstance for many years, living away from my family and going to college and things like that, I re-examined it and I did drift away. And I've always kept the belief and I've always kept the faith in God, but I kind of didn't pray, I didn't practice, I didn't care to go to church. And to be quite honest, there's times now where I don't care to go to church, because as much as the church that I go to is the one that my grandfather started, it's a hollow shell of what it used to be, especially from when I was a kid. There's so many aspects of it, and so much of the leadership has changed that it's different. So I have mixed feelings on church, and I have mixed feelings on Orthodox Christianity and Christianity in general. I'm a firm believer. I'm absolutely am. But the truth is, I have a hard time accepting the exclusivity of it, because I have found that ideology from Buddhism and practices such as meditation are very impactful, very positively impactful in my life, and have ultimately brought me closer to God, like Christian God. I feel a deeper connection. I feel more open desire to participate. I feel more inclined to live the Christian lifestyle and to be virtuous and to be on that path. And so I struggle with that exclusivity of it, to think that it might be looked at unfavorably that I take ideas from other religions and incorporate them into my own beliefs and my own doctrine. And I know that religion isn't something that you pick and choose from, and I do understand that you don't get to just decide what works for you and leave the rest. So this is what I'm kind of grappling with. I am curious if anyone out there is grappling with similar things, whether it's a newfound interest in religion, or it's a rejection of religion, or a confusion about the different types of religion, especially when it comes to Christianity. There's a wide spectrum of different beliefs and doctrines that go along with it. I don't want to get into church history, but the idea behind orthodoxy is that they've maintained the doctrine and the practices and the beliefs as purely as possible from the very earliest churches, the very earliest collection of Christian beliefs based on Hebrew God and Jesus Christ, and etc. So, as far as Christianity goes, I do believe that Orthodoxy provides the purest, most original form, but I also have almost concerns about what that means for other denominations, and I grapple with this idea that maybe people aren't accepted by God if they're not a certain sect or a certain denomination. I don't know, it's complicated, and I'm just trying to work through it. So I guess what I'm saying is I have questions, but I am a firm believer, and I'm working on either answering those questions or just accepting things as they are, because oftentimes, as we've discussed in the past, you just have to accept things for as they are and not get focused on what you might not know or the unknowns of life, because religion comes down mainly to that. What are the unknowns of life, the mysteries of why we exist, of why we're on this planet, and how everything works and how we're all connected, and etc., etc. So anyway, I feel like I don't have much advice or really anything of true value to say today. I just felt like discussing it, and I felt like putting it out there in case somebody can relate and maybe some discussion can be had. In any case, I appreciate you for listening to me, despite the fact that I have nothing of value to say today. I'm going to get finished up. I got to call dispatch. I got to get back to the station, unload my baggage, finish up the day. I got done very early today. It's not even 6 o'clock, and I'm about to be heading back. So, good day, beautiful outside, warm. I'm grateful to live another day. And I thank you guys for watching. I thank you guys for chatting with me. And thank God for letting me live another good day. Alright, y'all. Appreciate you being here. And we'll talk soon. See ya.